Hello, welcome sa ating video. Today we are going to talk about simple interest, compound interest, and depreciation. This is a grade 10 lesson. So start muna tayo with our concept review. So when we say simple interest, it is being calculated only using the principal amount. And the formula for this one is I is equal to PRT, where P is our principal, R is our rate, and then of course T is our time. And then to get the total amount, we just need to add the principal plus the interest. Or we can simply use this formula. So amount is equal to P times 1 plus RT. Now, maybe you're wondering saan to galing na formula. So again, we know that our I is just PRT. And again, the amount with the interest is principal plus interest. We just combine these two formula. So meron tayong A is equal to P plus yung I natin is actually PRT. So we're gonna say PRT. And then since P is common, we say A is equal to P and then 1 plus RT. Alright, so that is why we have this formula. And when we say compound interest, it is calculated on the principal and any interest previously earned. So meaning to say, if magko-compound interest tayo, the amount will be our new principal. And then the new principal again will be multiplied by the interest rate. So the formula for the compound interest is this. A is equal to P. Then we have 1 plus R. R is the rate in decimals. And then N is the compounding period. How many times it is being compounded in a year? Is it annually, by 6 months, by 3 months, or monthly, or per day? And then of course our T is the time. And then depreciation, I am using here the nonlinear depreciation. So we have here A is equal to P times 1 minus R raised to T. Again, this is a nonlinear depreciation. Let's have question 1. So it says here 12,000 is invested at 6% simple interest per year for 3 years. What is the interest earned? So we are looking for the interest earned. So what we're going to do here is, again, use the formula. I is equal to PRT. And then our P principal is 12,000 times the rate, which is 6%, or that is 0.06 times T, which is 3. And then we're gonna get our calculator. So we're gonna say 12,000 times 0.06 times 3. Once we click equals, we're gonna get 2,160. That is letter B. So our answer is letter B for number 1. Number 2, 8,500 is invested at 5% per annum for 4 years. How much is the interest earned? So again, we're gonna do the same thing. Interest earned. So what we're going to do here, change lang natin yung ating 12K into 8,500. So this gives us 8,500. The interest rate is 5%. And then that is for 4 years. That gives us, wait, that's 0.05, my bad. That gives us 1,700. That's letter B again in the choices. Number 3, if 10,000 is invested at 7% simple interest per year for 2 years, what is the total amount? So again, the total amount is given by A is equal to P times 1 plus R and then T. Alright, so saan yan galing? Ito lang, sa taas kanina, this one. So since we are looking for the amount, we're gonna get the interest and then add it back to our principal. That will be again our total amount after 2 years. So we're gonna say the interest, or the principal I mean, is 10,000 times 1 plus rate is 7%, so that is 0.07 times 2. That gives us 11,400, which is letter A in the choices. Number 4. A loan of 20,000 is charged simple interest per year for 18 months. What is the amount to be paid? Now, be careful here because let me just be careful here because again, it is expressed by months. So maybe some of us will enter 18 in our formula, but again, we need to convert this one back to years. How many years are there in 18 months? That is just 1.5, right? So basically, in our computation, we will say 20,000 times 1 plus 0.6 and then multiply it by 1.5, not 18. So we're gonna get 21,800, which is letter A in the choices. So this is letter A from our choices. Let's do letter B, number 5, I mean. If the simple interest earned is 3,600 after 3 years at 8% per year, what was the principal amount? So here we are looking for the principal. Now, remember our interest is equal to PRT. So if we are looking for the principal, we're gonna say the interest over rate times time. That will be the principal. Okay? And then another thing that could help us is using the triangle. So interest is above, and then again, interest is equal to the PRT. So since we are looking for the P, we can do we can cover P. So cover this one. Then you are left with I over RT, which is basically this one. So we're gonna say to get the principal, the interest is 36, and then the rate is 8%. So that's 0.08 times the T is 3. So when we get our calculator, we will get 36 divided by 0.08 times 3. That gives us 15,000, which is letter A in our choices. So number 5 is actually letter A. Let's do number 6. 10,000 is invested at 5% compounded annually for 3 years. What is the amount after 3 years? Notice here, it's no longer simple interest but compounded annually. How many times in a year? 1, because it says annually. So again, the formula for compound interest is equal to A, P, and then 1 plus the rate over N raised to N times T, where N again is the number of times it is being compounded and T is the number of years. So we're gonna say A is equal to the principal is 10,000 times 1 plus what's my rate? That is 0.05. My N compounded annually, that is just 1 raised to 1 times 3. So basically, in our calculator, we're gonna say 10,000 times 1 plus 0.05, and then we raise it to 3. And then this gives us this one, 11,576.25. In the choices, we don't have decimals, so we're gonna go with letter B. So remember, this is a multiple choice questions, so we always choose the answer that is closest to the answer. So we're gonna say letter B as our answer here. Number 7. If 15,000 is invested, 6% compounded annually for 4 years, how much compound interest is earned? So here we are only as of the compound interest, the interest earned. So to get that one, we're gonna say the amount, the final amount minus the principal amount. So we need first to get the amount, the final amount, and then subtract the principal from it. So we're gonna say the amount is equal to, that's 15,000 times 1 plus our rate again is 0.06, and then it is compounded annually, so that is 1 times 1 times 4. So in calculator we say, I'll just change this one to 15,000, and then this becomes 0.06, 0.06 raised to 4. So my amount will be this, but since I'm only after of the interest, I'm gonna subtract the 15,000, the principal. So this gives me 3937. Where is that? It's letter B again. So 3937, letter B from the choices. Number 8. 25,000 is invested at 4% compounded annually for 5 years. What is the final amount? So again, the formula is A is equal to P 1 plus rate over N times N raised to T. So since that is just annually, N equals 1. So we're gonna say, I'm gonna change the 15 here to 25. And then that's 4%. That is 0.04. And I raise it to 5 years. Because 1 times 5 is just 5. So I'm gonna get 30,416, which is letter B in the choices. Number 9. 12,000 is invested at 8% interest compounded quarterly for 2 years. What is the final amount? Notice here the word quarterly. So how many quarters in a year? There are 4, right? So meaning to say your N is actually 4. So you're gonna say A is equal to the principal, which is 12,000, 1 plus 0.08 over, you're gonna say 4 raised to 4 times 2, or which is just 8. So we're gonna say 12,000. Let me just change the values here. 12,000, and then this is now divided by 4. That's, by the way, 0.08, and then multiply it by, I'll raise it by 4 times 2, that is 8. So we have this set up, and then if we click equal sign, that should give us 14,059.91 rounded to 14,060, which is letter D. So number 9 is letter D. Number 10. 18,000 is invested at 6% in interest compounded monthly for 3 years. So it's compounded monthly. How many months in a year? There are 12. So N equals 12. What is the total amount after 3 years? So again, we're gonna say A is equal to, the principal is 18 times 1 plus interest rate is 6% over 12 raised to 3 times 12. So we're gonna say in our calculator again, I'm gonna change 12 to 18, and then this is 0.06 divided by 12, because again that's by month, and then I raise it to 36. This gives me 21,540. That's letter A in the choices. That's letter A. Number 11, 9,000 is invested at 4.8% interest compounded monthly for 2 years. How much interest is earned? So it's compounded monthly. So again, n equals 12. And our setup again will be a is equal to the principal, which is 9,000, 1 plus 4.8%, that is 0.048, divided by n, which is 12, raised to 2 times, what is that? 2 times 12, because t is 2. So we're gonna say, I'm just gonna change this one to 9,000, and then that's 48, and then 2 times 12, that is 24. So this is 24. So the total amount will be this. But again, I am looking for the interest only, right? We are looking for the interest only. So we're gonna say minus the principal, which is 9,000. And then I got this, 904.93, rounded to the nearest whole number. That's 905. Letter A is the answer. Number 12. Compare 20,000 invested 6% compounded annually versus 6% compounded monthly for 1 year. Which investment earns more? So the amount, you're gonna say, um, this is annually, so I'm gonna say 1. And then the other one is compounded monthly, so I'm gonna say 12. So we will have this setup. So it's 20,000. Let's say 20,000 compounded annually. So I'm gonna say 6%, right? So that's 0.06. And again, this is just over 1. And I'm gonna raise it to how many years again? That's 1 year, right? So this is just 1. 1 times 1 is 1. So this is 21,200. So 21,200. Let me just erase this. That's 21,200. So what if it is compounded monthly for 1 year? So I'm gonna say 20. This is monthly, right? So n is 12 and then raised to 12 again. So this becomes 21,233. So 21,233 something, that is 55. So this is 55, 56, 56. So which investment earns more? So basically the monthly thing, right? It's bigger. This is bigger than this. So monthly earns more. And it makes sense, right? Because again, we have the new principal. We again apply the interest rate. And then whenever we get the new principal, again, we apply the interest rate. So it should be higher given that they have the same rate and year, because those are factors as well to consider. Number 13, a machine is purchased for 50,000 and depreciate at 10% per year. What is its value after 2 years? So again, the depreciation is equal to P and then 1 minus, what's the formula again? Just to be clear, para the same tayo ng formula. It's here above, P minus R raised to T, because we are using the nonlinear. P minus 1 minus R raised to T. So this becomes A, principal is 50K, then 1 plus the rate is 10%, so that is 0.1 raised to t, which is 2 years. So this gives us 50,000 times 1 minus 0.10 raised to 2. This gives us 40,500, which is again letter A in our choices. Like so. And it makes sense, right? Because again, in a year, it depreciates what? 5,000. And then 2 years man yan. That's 2 years. So that should be 10,000. A laptop costs 40,000 and depreciates at 15% per year. What is its value after 3 years? So again, this is 40,000. I'm going to change the values. Minus 15%. And that is for 3 years. So this is 3 years. So the answer will be 24,565, which is letter B in the choices. 15. A car worth 900,000 depreciates at 12% per year. What is its value after 5 years? So after 5 years, we're gonna say that's 900, right? 900,000, 12%. So we're gonna say 12%, and that year needed is 5. So this is 5%, which is not 5%, 5. My bad. That gives us this 470, 4958. It's not in the choices, but the closest is 475. They rounded the one off, so this is the answer. Number 16. Anna invested 30,000 in a bank that offers 5% interest compounded annually. How much money will she have after 4 years? So again, the formula for compound interest is A equals B, 1 plus R over N, and then N times T. So we're gonna say A is equal to the principal, which is 30K, then 1 plus the rate is 5% over N, compounded annually, so that is just 1, and then 1 times 4 as well. So this gives us how much? We're gonna say 3,000, 30,000, and then 1 plus 0.05 over 1 raised to 1 times 4, or simply 4, by the way. That's 1 times 4. But again, I love to do this one for you guys to see how the formula works. Where to input this number. So that is, oops, syntax error. I got what? Okay, that one. So that is 36,465. Where is that? Letter C. So this will be your task. You do numbers 17, and then 18, 19, and of course number 20. This is Mathema. Peace out.